Hello, good afternoon. So, welcome back. Finally, we see each other again. So, previously, we discussed about the nature of globalization. Like, we have discussed different perspectives, different authors, different interpretation about globalization. So, I hope you have realized something out from that definition, especially the definition made by Luther, that globalization is a sort of colonization. So that was the last activity that I asked you to have some explanation. Why is it that it was mentioned that globalization is a colonization? So when we are globalized, we are also colonized. So in a way that we are patronizing the products of others. For instance, we are now patronizing the products of South Korea, their music, their foods, even and nowadays we have this the movies Squid Game, and diba lahat ng Pilipino, we are really active and we are really updated what is the plot of that certain movie, who are the characters, and it also introduced to us the culture they have. So with that, we are enjoying watching this Squid movie. At the same time, we are being colonized now. In we're not just aware, we're not aware that it's already a sort of colonization, although it's through movie, because their movie reflects their lives, reflects their culture. And from time to time, as we watch these movies, we are also learning their culture. And most of us, we are also trying to adapt. We try to adapt the way they dress up, the way they eat their food, everything about them. So that's a result of globalization, and later on, this becomes a colonization. Not just for South Korea, no, ang dami actually. Tulad ng the way we buy, we purchase different gadgets, and these gadgets are coming from Western countries. So while we are using these gadgets, we are putting ourselves here, and we try to adapt everything, their way of living, how they value these gadgets. That's about colonization through globalization. Because through globalization, these products are being exported, imported here in our country because of this free trade. And one of the authors said that globalization is an interconnectedness wherein free trade occurs. There is this free trade without tariff. No, these countries can freely send here or export here, and we Filipinos, we import here their products. We patronize their products because of globalization, but we don't know that we are already colonized through patronizing these products. So that's the reason behind this colonization or globalization as a sort of colonization. Okay. Now, allow me to share my screen this afternoon. So, in this lesson, we are now actually in chapter 2. We will be discovering or exploring what are the roles or what is the role of globalization in global economy. Kumbaga, paano ba nakatulong si globalization in uplifting the economy of these developing countries, such as Philippines and other countries in Asia. So ano ba yung naging papel ng globalization? Not just for colonization, not just for free trade, but how about in terms of economy? Especially we are now amidst pandemic, and we are really affected of this virus. Like bumaba talaga ang ekonomiya ng bansa kasi yung ibang budget is gialat, no, para sa mga hospitalization ng mga COVID patient. Kaya may mga parte or may mga division kung saan medyo nabawasan yung budget. So that really affects the economy. Diba? Nagkaroon ng problema with food security because of this. no, medication, proper medicines, no, it somehow nagiging kwan siya, nagkaroon na ng kwan, shortage, no, sa mga gamot and basic needs of the people because of this COVID-19. So through globalization, no, again, um, in this situation, in these trying times which we are facing today, kahit papano, globalization has something to do with it. I mean, globalization has contributed something. For instance, di ba wala tayong vaccine dito sa Pilipinas. Then other countries like Western countries, US countries, they are giving us this for free. Andyan si Pfizer, di ba? It's because of globalization, because we already have this mutual understanding, no? Through the initiative of United Nations, UNICEF, no? Sila yung mga in charge wherein they merge people, they unite people amidst diversity. Although we are from different cultures, different walks in life, but we are becoming united because of this globalization. And I can say that this is one of the advantages of globalization. When we embrace globalization, we will have this kind of help from them. Andyan si US aid, si Australian aid, and sometimes they give full tuition scholarship. So that's an advantage, no? One of the advantages of embracing globalization. But in the case of North Korea, it's quite different because North Korea doesn't accept globalization. So if you observe, they are being controlled by their government. They are not allowed to use Facebook, and I guess there are only prescribed TV channels. For example, only 8 TV channels should be watched by these people. They are not allowed to watch. They are not allowed to surf in YouTube, Google, or to learn about the culture of others because they don't want globalization. They don't want change. Gusto nila preserve kung anong meron sila. But the disadvantage there is the control, no? The control with the people. Kasi yung mga tao nagiging sunod-sunuran na lang because they don't know what's really happening outside of their country because of this border, because of this control. So now let's find out, how does globalization affect global economy? So allow me to share my screen. So again, for the attendance, please write down your name on the post section. Don't forget to write your name and your section. And later on, as we go along this discussion, there will be some questions, and just simply answer them using our post or comment section. And also include your section with your name, not just for, aside from your attendance, you may also include your name in sending or posting your thoughts. Okay. So finally, we're now in chapter 2. Actually, the main topic, the main title of this topic is the structure of globalization. So if you observe here, the writer used iPhone, iPad as a metaphor. He tried to use this product. How does this affect globalization? Or paano ba nakaabot itong mga produktong ito, this iPhone? Basically, this is from US and now assembled in China. No? And finally, we are now enjoying this. We have our gadgets made by Apple company. So that's because of globalization. Toshiba, what else? There's a numerous gadgets which are assembled and made from different countries. In the Philippines, we only have my phone, I guess. But I don't think if this certain product would compete with iPhone. No? Kaya ang mga Pinoy talaga, social, no? Gusto talaga yung branded. Gusto talaga yung imported. So with that kind of attitude, we are globalized and we are colonized. Especially the product of China, most of the time. China products are everywhere. Even your friends, si friends mo katabi mo, made in China din yan minsan. Kasi plastic. Pero not all. Like with that certain example, you could actually infer how China invades the world through their products. And there are some issues or curses which state that the virus was created by China. I don't think so, if this is really legit. That's why they also know how to create the vaccine. No? They have this Sinovac. This is actually the first vaccine coming from the country. But we don't know what's really the truth behind of this. But what matters today is that we keep ourselves healthy. Now, these are the objectives of this discussion, of course. So at the end of this, you should be able to gain a deeper understanding of the structure of globalization. Ano bang meron sa mga structure ng globalization? Because previously, we have just discussed the nature. We have just discussed the different definitions from different perspectives. But now we will try to discuss some structures comprised by this globalization. And also, you would be able to discuss the significant structures amidst globalization. What are the important things in this globalization that we need to learn, we need to consider? And of course, you should be able to appreciate the good effects of globalization to the economy. So, along with the boon or the disadvantages of this, of course, we should also appreciate the good things which brought to us by globalization. And that's what we're going to discuss this afternoon. So we'll begin with the global economy. So it is said that global economy is the world economy or the worldwide economy. From the word itself, global. No? Pag global talaga, kabuuan. So it talks about the kabuang ekonomiya ng buong mundo and ano ba yung naging papel ni globalization in this matter. Now, it is also the system of trade and industry across the world that has emerged due to globalization. Take note. When we talk about globalization, the structure, the meaning, andito talaga si trade and industry. So hindi mawawala si free trade, si exchange. Earlier we Filipino called it barter, but up to this day, it's still present, and it is one of the structures of globalization. Ito kumbaga yung manifestation ng globalization. When there is a free trade, when we keep on exchanging products from Philippines to other countries, that is a manifestation of globalization. That means that these countries are adapting or embracing this globalization across the world due to globalization. Okay, let's continue. So, in other words, it is the way in which countries' economies have been developing to operate collectively as one system. Now, because of the globalization, we are trying to adapt new learnings from other country. Kumbaga, we need to conform with them. Like kung anong meron sa ekonomiya ng bansa, especially the developed country, the third world, diba? And tayo, we're just developing. We are underprivileged country. So we have no choice but we need to adapt, we need to conform with this country. Kaya dyan papasok si trade and industry across the world, which actually emerged because of globalization. So this is one of the advantages, again, of globalization when we talk about global economy. Economic globalization refers to the expanding interdependence of the world economies. So in here, there is this expansion, like US will try to invest something in our country that's expanding interdependence. And actually the goal of this is to help us, especially Philippines. I guess as of the moment, we are still ranked as among the poorest countries in Asia, the most corrupt countries. So because of globalization, we have this expansion. Kaya nagkakaroon ng mga partnership like For instance, yung US aid, like they will sponsor some school here, they will give some school here for free. No, that's the expansion of their services. Pero along with that, we could not say pa rin na wala pa rin colonization. Kasi minsan, no, they are really that kind of, smart people. 'Di ba? Kapag tao talaga, nagbibigay, may kapalit yan. Same as with these countries. They show their goodness to us. They gave us everything, but we don't know what comes next. Tulad nung nabanggit ko, the example that I gave last time, yung nangyari between China and Ghana, no? Like, yung downfall ng Ghana during earlier times, pinahiram na ng pera, pinahiram ng China ang Ghana ng pera. Then what happened is hanggang dumami ng dumami, tumaas, nagtubo. So what happened now, worst thing is, Ghana is under the control of China, di ba? Like, they are entitled to do what they want. They are entitled to export different things, even illegal things if they want to, because of this control na na-earn nila dahil sa malaking utang ng Ghana. So I hope this thing will not happen to the Philippines, no? Kasi kawawa tayo. But anyway, we are already invaded by Chinese people. Sa product pa lang, di ba? Tingnan yung mga gamit nyo dyan. Lahat yan made in China. Sabi ko nga, di ba, even iPhone, no? Even iPhone, it's now made in China, assembled in China. So, di ba, malaking company, but they were able to have their own, to buy it. Di ba, like, with that certain example, sabi natin na sobrang powerful ng China. Parang tatalunin na nila ang other European countries and even US countries. But still, no, may mga naiambag din naman ng China sa atin, di ba? So, yun. Kung yung ibang Pilipino, they are also thankful with Chinese people kasi may mga bagay na mahal masyado. But we can now afford it, di ba? Sa Shopee, for example, gusto mong bumili ng drone, di ba? Drone costs 60 to 80,000, but in Shopee, you can buy it for only 2,000. Oh, imagine, may mga ganon. But of course, do not expect for, the quality because of its price, diba? So again, the term global economy also refers to the interconnected worldwide economic activities that take place between multiple countries. So ito na yung sinasabi natin previously, and it was already defined by a certain philosopher, that when we talk about economy or globalization, it's an interconnectedness. But in here, they are being connected because of some economic activities. So isa na yung when it comes to business, like other countries will invest here, or yung pagpapadala ng mga OFW, that's still a part of this interconnectedness, wherein Filipinos can freely work there, but still no abuse is still observed. Kahit meron na tinatawag na globalization, interconnectedness, hindi pa rin nawawala si abuse, especially sa ating mga domestic helpers. Ang dami pa rin cases ng mga Pilipino na they are being, harassed in overseas. No, that's it. That's the problem still arising. No, even we have this globalized world. Now, these economic activities can have either positive, so ito na, I keep on telling this, that along with this globalization, andun talaga si positive and negative impact on the countries involved. It's good for the developed country like China, US, and other European countries, kasi they have this expansion, may expand nila yung kanilang territory, no? Klaro nangyari with China and Ghana. But what's bad is that this small country, itong mga maliliit at mga developing country tulad ng Pilipinas, because we are not capable of fighting against them. What if ever there's undesirable things happen in the future? Kasi hindi natin alam anong goal talaga nila ngayon. As of the moment, they want to help us, but we don't know what comes next. So gano'n, no? Pero laban lang din, no? Kasi palaban man ang ating presidente, kaya kahit papano, no? kahit papano parang umangat yung pangalan ng Pilipinas, no, parang kahit papano other countries are, they look up Philippines because of President Duterte. But basically, no, from the very beginning talaga, like Filipinos are seen as, maids. That's why I could still remember the time when I went to Malaysia and we were we competed in a certain research congress. So yun nga. Then I have a colleague, I mean co-presenter from Jordan. Tapos sabi niya, are you a Filipino? Sabi niya ganun. Filipinos in our country are just maids, o 'di ba? Doon pa lang like how they look down Filipino people. Siyempre, 'di ba? I also told him, no, it's different now. Because most of the Filipinos are already educated. They already have their jobs, stable jobs. So parang ganun, like, but deep inside, no, parang it's something, it sucks inside. Kasi nga, di ba, how they look us, very mababa. So, that's kasi nga, di ba, sometimes we are very dependent na din. Because of this globalization na rin, nakakaroon na rin ng maliit yung tingin sa atin because of this. Like, because we have no choice but to depend on them, to depend on their country. Because of this globalization, kaya mayroong interconnectedness, diba? But that's one of the negative. And another negative things about globalization is the colonization. So yun nga, no? Like modern Filipino youth are now embracing, the culture of others, and they tend to forget their own identity as a Filipino. Especially yung mga those Filipinos who already are resident of US, may green card na sila. As they go back here, parang iba na, no? Meron ngayong, I don't know if you watch the video, yung babae, sabi niya hindi daw siya makaligo sa tubig ng Pilipinas. Gamitin niya daw is yung mineral water, di ba? I don't think if this is just for entertainment or it has meaning behind. But what matters is that dito natin malalaman na mayroong negative impact talaga yung interconnectedness when we exchange kasi nga 'di ba it's part of the products, it's a human capital, no, yung papapadala ng mga OFW, that's yamang tao in economics, 'di ba, and it's part of our yaman. So that's part of this interconnectedness. So ang problema na lang kung ginamaltrato si OFW, si yamang tao. So yun. But it's good, no, in the term of President Duterte, parang ang dami namang medyo na lessen, na minimize. But dati, I don't know under what president yung nangyari kay Flor Contemplacion, the first Filipino na bitay sa Singapore, no, with wrong accusation. Actually, hindi siya yung yung may pakana, no, but she was accused. At yun, no, life sentence talaga. And ay, life sentence talaga yun kasi dati, we all know that Singapore, isa yan sa cruel countries. People there are composed of Chinese people, and knowing about the dynasty of Chinese people, mahilig sila sa mga bitay-bitay. And that's what happened exactly to Flor Contemplacion. But we're thankful now, no? Tulad nung nangyari din kay yung si Mauro. Could you still remember that certain representative who is assigned in France ba yun? Or in Greece? Yung nagmaltrato sa matanda. Sometimes kasi the problem is in the Filipinos, di na tayo mismo. We don't love our colleagues. We don't love our co-Filipinos. So how could these people love us if tayo mismo, like, we don't love each other, we struggle, we have conflicts, di ba? So that's the problem. We cannot encourage people to really value our existence kasi tayo mismo, tayo ng Filipino, tayo mismo yung sumisira itong imahe na others are trying to build it. Okay? Now, the International Monetary Fund, we also have this IMF, also defined economic globalization as a historical process, the result of human innovation and technological progress ito. This is very evident, especially in this modern era, this human innovation and technological progress. But again, it also has the positive and negative impact. Again, it is positive for other countries in a way that they have they could expand their connection. Because we try to adapt, we try to patronize their technology. Kasi wala nga tayo, di ba? We only have my phone. At si my phone, parang hindi siya masyado, I don't know if you're using my phone. Pag online class ba, makakaya ba si my phone, di ba? So dyan pa lang, we cannot blame Filipinos in patronizing these imported products. Kasi nga, we are after of the quality. Sabi nga, mahal, pero maganda yung kalidad. Kasi nagiging problema din ito again with us to the problem with this yung mga mababang yung mga low end na mga product. Isa rin ito sa negative impact ng globalization. Bakit? Because of globalization, because of this exchanges program, binigyan, so let's say, may Pilipino na magaling na scientist, then binigyan siya ng scholarship kasi mautak ang ibang bansa. Binigyan ka ng scholarship, pinaaral ka sa Yale or saan ba yan, Harvard, siyempre magaling ka na scientist and doon ka nag-aral ng pagka-scientist mo, then you are being absorbed. So for others, it's a positive thing. Wow, mayad pa siya, na-absorb siya in this country and they hired him to work in their country. But if we're going to analyze it deeply, dito na makita na ginagamit lang tayo ng ibang bansa. No, our skills. Kaya 'di ba, yung awit na napakaraming, diba? Are you aware of that song? That's actually a sort of satirical song, but it has meaning. Ang daming mga galing na Pilipino, but because of this globalization, because of this interconnectedness, exchanging of human capital, so yun no, na-absorb si ganito, si si Pinoy. Si Pinoy naman, dahil gusto niya ng malaking pera, so syempre tatanggapin, di ba? Be practical na. So what's bad is yung mayaman yung ibang bansa gamit ang human capital ng ating bansa, di ba? Supposedly kung let's say Apple product, let's say isa diyan is Pinoy. So let's say what if no ginawa na lang sa Pilipinas, so malaki yung maitutulong sa ekonomiya natin, then it will bring no jobs to Filipinos. Ang dami, sorry, that's the reality and that is a sad reality. Ang daming Pilipino, potential Pilipino, pero bakit they landed a job in this country? Kasi minsan may mga gobyerno din namang they are not supporting these Filipino potentials. So that's a negative thing about human innovation. When they are innovated, so they are being absorbed in other countries, they serve there, and they are being exploited. So di ba? How sad. But that's true. That's according to IMF 2008. So along with this, we have this sub-objectives. So you have to define what is economic globalization. Identify the actors that facilitate economic globalization. Sino ba yung mga taong in charge when we talk about this global economic activities? So it can be traced from history, the time when there was an economic movement in Asia, Africa, and Europe called the Silk Road, a trade route which connects the East, particularly China and the West. So ito yung isa sa mga halimbawa ng interconnectedness, the Silk Road, which composed of Asia, Africa, and Europe. This route brings us to the history of how Philippines was discovered by the Portuguese and Spanish. Invoice in search of spices and eventually led to colonization. So ito na yan, sabi ko na, di ba? This is one of the negative things about this globalization. Ito papasok si free trade, di ba? Ito palitan ng mga spices. Pero hindi pa natin alam, we are already colonized. Kasi tayo, Filipinos in the earlier time, they don't have education. And we are very accommodating to strangers. That's one of the things which used by these people against us. Like we are very friendly to stranger. But we don't know, we are already, we are being abused. Kaya minsan, wag tayo masyadong mabait, no? Kasi we are being abused by many. So yan, ginamit siya ng mga Spaniard, umpisa, dumating sila especially in Cebu, yun, no? First, they introduced, aside from Christianity, kasi lasa si Christianity, nauna itong mga spices and other material things, parang palitan, kunyari. Pero yun pala, they use this as their tactics, no? Para makuha yung loob ng mga Pilipino. Dahil si Pilipino sobrang bait, okay, pasok sa bahay, entertain. But later on, they have this motive, no? So in this present day, foreign expatriates come to the country to manage their company's foreign subsidiaries. And this is true. Punta kayo sa Makati, ang daming company doon na hindi, it's not ruled by a Filipino. It's ruled by a foreigners. And I guess most of the biggest companies in Manila, these are ruled and these are owned by these foreigners. Di ba? So, gradually, parang yun, no? I hope this won't happen to us na one day. Parang we Filipinos, nagiging dayuhan na tayo ng ating bansa. Kasi halos we are already surrounded by these foreigners. So likewise, the Philippines sent thousands of skilled workers to the Middle East as construction workers, seafarers, nurses. Ito yung isa sa net positive because we want money, no? And itong una-una, they invest money in the Philippines. They build a company. And later on, nagbibigay siya ng maraming trabaho sa mga Pilipino and that's a good thing about it. Similarly, like when Filipino OFWs, skilled workers, the blue-collar job, these skilled workers kasi they are called blue-collar job. Basta yung mga, they don't use their mental labor, I mean, they use barely their skills. So mga construction worker, they are called as blue-collar job. Tandaan nyo, take note yan. Si white-collar job naman is si teacher, yung mga nakapagtapos ng bachelor's degree, and they landed a job with their respective bachelor's course. So that's mga engineer, nurses, no? But sa case ni nurses, depende man din. Kapag pagdating mo doon, nurse ka from here, pagdating doon yaya, so blue-collar job ka na. Or pagdating doon, you are what call this, yung nursing aid, parang aid ka lang. So you're considered as blue-collar job. Now, according to Shangguan 2000, she attributes this to the growing scale of cross-border trade, commodities, and services flow of international capital and wide and rapid spread of technology. Okay, tapos na tayo dyan. So we keep on discussing this, but it was emphasized by Shangguan 2000. So ito na si flow, ang bilis ng pagpasok ng mga produkto, ng teknolohiya, ng mga serbisyo. Ang dami actually. It's because of globalization, specifically global economy. In the Philippines, cross-border trading can be best illustrated by the country's trading partnership with China, no? But I don't think so if as of the moment we have good relationship with China. What do you think so? United States, I believe, meron tayong good relationship with US and Australia. Kaya merong mga US aid, di ba? Yung US aid, yan, isa yan sa manifestation that we have good partnership with US. Australian aid. Here in Maguindanao, I guess, or sa Cotabato, ang daming scholar, no? Which is funded by the Australian aid. Si China naman, I guess they offer full tuition exchange program. We have teachers in SKSU actually, si Ma'am, sino yun siya? She is an English teacher in the College of Criminal Justice, teacher education. Si Ma'am Christine, nakalimutan ko yung last name niya. She's now in China. Nag-aaral siya ng kanyang pagka-doktor, PhD, and yun siya, fully funded. So, from China. So parang unfortunately nabutan siya ng doon. Kaya parang na-extend yung kanyang stay in China. So I can say na meron din tayong good relationship with China, but I don't think as of the moment if we still have this. Diba? Ang daming issue, especially sa mga territory, no? Ang daming mga, they're trying to claim something from us, which is ours, atin yun. Moreover, the flow of international capital can be observed in foreign direct investment or FDI, a type of investment in which a company establishes a business in other country for production of goods and services and still takes part in the management of that business. So ito na yung nangyayari, especially in Manila, no? Like we have this FDI, foreign direct investment. They will invest here, but with due process naman, no? It was approved naman by the immigration and by the Philippine government. So yeah, no, production of goods, services, but it's still okay, no? For as long as it will not influence us. We'll just treat it as our job, but not to the extent na parang we will adapt what they have, what they teach us. Kasi nawawala yung identity natin as a Filipino. It's good being a versatile one. Like we are being adaptive. Like it's easy for us to adopt the change, but not to the extent that we tend to forget our own. Tayo, kung sino tayo, di ba? Kung sino ba talaga tayo? Our culture, our tribe, our language. Baka pagdating mo dito, naka-work ka ng ibang bansa, hindi ka na marunong ng lingwahe mo. That's bad. A sort of kawayan na yan siya. A good example of this is the Toyota Motors Philippines Corporation. Ang dami ng Toyota dito, di ba? We all know that this is from Toyota Japan. So that's another example of FDI. Like Toyota is one of the biggest companies in the Philippines. It was built and it was invested by the Japanese people. Pero at least no, it offers job to many Filipino. So yun lang, wala talaga natin i-adapt totally kung anong meron. It's good to adapt globalization, but not to be colonized, not to forget who you are, what you have, and where you are. Now, first question, how does global economy work? Global economy is one in which goods and services are traded across national borders. Take note of these lines. These services are traded across national borders. So it's free. They can actually trade their products freely. Wala na mga tarifa. Although there are some restrictions, but this is manageable. Kasi nga, we have this good relationship. Just wait for a while. Okay, let's continue. Because the trade is among sovereign nations, those nations may enact trade restriction that alter free market outcomes. Tulad ng ASEAN, may mga bansa lang kasi na member ng ASEAN, so may mga restriction pa rin kahit papaano. But there are different organizations naman na nag-accept ng free trade, no? That's because of globalization. So isa yan ng ASEAN, like ASEAN yata is kasali ang Pilipinas, like Philippines, Thailand, Indonesia, something like that. I'm not really particular with specific countries, but isa yung sa halimbawa. Okay, the new world economy is characterized by, so this is characteristics of the new world economy, which is part of this global economy, or another word, global economy. So these are the characteristics, maybe an advantage or disadvantage of this new world economy. So one, more option for production. No matter what your production processes, the chances are that the same capabilities exist elsewhere. So ito yung more production, like hindi ka mauubusan ng buyer, ng consumer because of this trade. Like dito sa Pilipinas, pwede ka magsasend pa ng mga produkto mo in other countries. And that's expansion. More expansion, more profits. At kahit pa paano, that will help the country. No matter what your production processes, the chances are that the same capability exists elsewhere. Okay? So they will patronize our product, parang ganun ba? Kung ano yung general standard ng Apple, let's say, then meron tayong produkto, we can ship it freely. I mean, we can trade it freely and let their people patronize it. Now, if we're part of this. But as of the moment kasi, I don't think, ano ba yung mga produkto ng bansa natin? Do you know some? Can you mention some of the products we have that we export them in other country? Okay? Pakilista, pakisulat ng sagot nyo sa comment. What are the products that Filipino have wherein they are being exported? Sige daw. Write your answer here for 5 points. Don't forget to write your name along with your answer. Later na kayo mag-type ng mga question nyo. Let's just finish the discussion. Again, the question is, can you give me a product of the Philippine or Filipino product? Maliban sa iPhone ay my phone, wag na yung iPhone. Hindi man siya gina-export talaga. Mag-isip kayo pwede ng mga raw mga products na known ang Philippines na they are being exported. I don't think kung meron. Think about it. We still have 10 minutes. Okay, thank you so much. I can see others are already typing their answer. Just type it there. Let's see and we'll try to read them. Next, the chance to create new markets. Because of this expansion, we can create a new markets. Like we can, kaya di ba ngayon, ang dami ng mga branches. Like the McDonaldization. You know what? McDonaldization is a sort of creating new markets. Like opening some branches, some franchises. So yun, halimbawa, yan ang create new markets because of the new world economy. Small firms can think big because of the help of big countries. Yung mga maliit na mga business sector, parang ma-expand, lalaki because of this help. Next, a more level playing field. No? Ang daming pwedeng i-explore when it comes to business. That's why it's a more level playing field. Like, you can invest a lot of products. You can expand your business adapting the concept of other countries or with their help. Like you can venture. Maka-venture ka ng anong uri naman ng produkto. Networks are important, yes of course. In doing business with the new world economy, network. Kaya di ba ngayon, may rami na, example of this network, ano ba? Shopee, di ba? Lazada. Especially amidst the pandemic, no? We are restricted. So most of the time, purchases or some products are being, sold online, being shipped. So parang ganun yung nangyari. That talks about network. And most of the time, sa Pilipinas kasi may mga network na is yung mga sikat si Coca-Cola, may mga website na yan sila, ang dami na actually. And marami din mga small business people na nagkaroon din naman ng network, no? Gradually. Culture is no constraint. Why? Can you explain why? Why is it that having this new world economy, one of the characteristics is culture is no constraint? Okay, write your answer here. I will wait for your answer. Bakit sinabi na culture is no constraint in new world globalization? Ano kaya kinalaman ni culture? Anyone? Yes? Just type it there, your answer. We have the post section there. Explain this. Para hindi na tayo mag-e-leads, dito na lang ako mag-check sa StreamYard. Provided na you have to write your name along with your answer. Bawal kopyahan ng answer ha, makita man din dyan. Sinong first na idea, so yun yung ma-acknowledge natin. All right, thank you so much. I will take time to read your answer. Okay. Economic globalization is one of the three main dimensions of globalization commonly found in countries. Economic literature, with two others being political globalization and cultural globalization. So ito yung tatlo yung mahalaga no, in terms of globalization. We have the political globalization, cultural globalization, and economic globalization. Okay, take note of that. As well as the general term for globalization. It refers to the widespread international movement of goods. Okay, ulit-ulit na lang to, no? So I will not discuss it. Free trade of goods through, we have this market technology organization, institution corporation, ang dami, ang dami. While economic globalization has been expanding since the emergence of the transnational trade, still no, they are also about, although they are having a different focus, different subjects, different products, but they are all emergence of transnational trade. They're also a sort of free trade sa pa rin, no? So dyan under in economic globalization, long distance transportation, we're free to travel around the world. So may pera ka lang, syempre. But there are some cases that other countries are offering free travel, but you should also pay something. Advances in telecommunication, that's still part of this, no? The importance of information rather than physical capital in modern economy. The rate of globalization and by developments in science, so yun na. The globalization has also increased under the framework of the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. So may general tariff na kung ilan ba yung kukunin, charge, doon sa mga trade na product. So medyo mayroon ng mga kuhan ganon. Good relationship. Actually, as of the moment pala, so, kasi di ba, YouTuber, yung mga naga-YouTube sa Pilipinas, meron yung tax supposedly sa YouTube, like 30%, imagine. But as I read, meron palang good relationship, merong partnership ang Pilipinas at saka ang US, wherein we are exempted from the tax. So instead of 30, hindi talaga extended, but we have discount. Parang 15% lang yung kinukuha. No? Kasi meron tayong, I don't know the exact term, I forgot. But we have this good relationship, partnership with US when it comes to this product, the YouTube or the Google AdSense. Kaya medyo mababa yung tax. It's because of this economic globalization. No? So ayan, no, it's more on products pa rin. Bakit may ISO na tayo ngayon? It's still because of globalization. Not only for schools. So earlier, no, lately pala, SKSU's undergone its visit, ISO visit. So yun pa rin. Like, ito yung sabi ko rin, through ISO, these are the manifestations that we need to conform with international standard. Kaya ISO. Hindi lang sa school, maging sa mga produkto natin. Like, kailangan lahat ng produkto dadaan sa ISO, no? ISO assessment to pass its international standardization. So, pag nakapasa doon, so it's now free to be exported. Pag wala, so good for the Philippines lang. Unless it's smuggled, no? Wag lang, that's bawal. There are numerous benefits of global economy which include the free trade, excellent method of countries to exchange goods, okay, and yun na pa rin, si trade, si exchange of method in exchanging products. It also allows countries to specialize in the production of those goods in which they have a comparative advantage. International forces are shaping the world of business, but also creating new opportunities and more level playing field of small firm. Economy is considered very important because it is the thing that allow us to survive and thrive. Yes, pagbabagsak ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, maraming magugutom, maraming wala ng trabaho, patay ang mga Pilipino. That's why this plays vital role in the economy to survive and thrive. A system where no money involved in trade is done as direct exchange of goods. So may mga part na we don't have to pay tariff, we don't have to follow any restriction, like pag may perang involved na, no need na. because of this global economy. So having enough is extremely important. Okay. Matulit kasi yung iba, so we'll just sum them up. Anyway, I will send this kuan na lang, no. Later on, I will send it in your GC kasi I'm not still, no, I could not send module in English. I don't think what's the problem. But I will try my best to send it through your GC na lang muna. So ayan, specific factor or actor. So ito, di ba we've been talking about actors. Isa ito sa mga tao or organization that they facilitate this global economy. So we have the International Economic and Financial Organization, the International Government Organization, the IGOs, the media. Media is always part of globalization. The multilateral development banks, the nation states, so yung bawat bansa, non-governmental organization, yung mga NGO natin. I don't think UNICEF and UN are NGOs. I'm not really sure. But they are part of this global economy through globalization. The transnational corporation, the TNCs, ito meron ito. I guess TNC sa cellphone ba ito? I'm not really particular if it's in the phone. Parang may tatak kasi sa ng phone natin. And still part of this global standardization. And yan, United Nations system. Si United Nations talagang isa sa pinaka frontrunner or I mean the main actor of this globalization. Because they are the ones they are the ones which merge people, especially when it talks about peace. No, peace talaga yung pinaka-focus ng United Nations. So itong mga economy, of course, papasok din sila doon. Pag walang magandang ekonomiya, walang help from other country, papasok si terrorist, mawala ang peace. That's it. That's the problem with it. There are the agents that bring about interdependence of global economy. Some experts believe that these actors are global corporations. It refers to the above groups. No? Now, Brody, this is 2006. Brody 2006 calls the government as the midwives of globalization, which means that the role of the nation state is being refined by globalization and are relevant despite assuming a global perspective. It acts as mediators between the effects of globalization and the national economy. Okay, so according to Brody, tinawag niyang midwives of globalization ang gobyerno. So ano bang gawain ng isang midwife? For medication, di ba? Mediation. So most of the time, siya yung tumutulong to help, to cure, especially pag may sakit. So that's the role of the government. It's just a metaphorical statement, but this reflects the important role which should be played by the government. Pag okay ang government, ang problema ng government, corrupt, that's the problem. Diba? Ang daming mga smuggled, ang daming mga illegal drugs na nakapasok sa bansa because of these government officials na corrupt. Dahil meron silang self-interest. Nagkaka-benefit sila kaya they let these people export these illegal drugs for their own benefits. But it is their role sana, supposedly, to mediate, like, if there are problems occur, it's their responsibility. And they should protect the nation. They should protect the people, the consumer, because they are the mediators between the effects, competition, and national economy. The problem is, kapag sila yung nagiging perpetrator ng mga gawain ito, that's the problem. And they're no longer the mediators. That's it, no? That's why we're really thankful with the administration of Duterte. I'm not promoting Duterte, no? But it's very evident kung ano yung mga nagawa ni Duterte. So good luck na nasa sunod na president. I hope you can be the voice of your community. You can be an agent of change. So piliin kung sinong narapat that somehow could really help us uplift our economy. Diba? Kasi kahirapan, poverty, crimes are still there. Although may mga big changes talaga sa time ni Duterte, but there are few incidents happen because of this. Okay? So once again, good afternoon. Again, don't forget to write your name and you have to write your answers on the question that I had asked earlier along with your name. Okay? So maybe next meeting, magkaroon tayo ng virtual class through Google Meet. So now we use StreamYard na for the benefits of others. Okay? Those who could not attend on time. So this is the very convenient way of having our virtual class through this StreamYard because you could still watch it anytime, anywhere, at your most convenient time. So I hope you understand that. Kapag if you're using Google Meet kasi, others cannot join. They miss it, alangan mag-discuss tayo for them lang, di ba? And it will affect them. Whereas kapag ito, everybody can watch it for as long as link will be given. But there are times pa rin that we will meet through Google Meet to assess your performance kasi magkaroon tayo ng mga graded recitation, ng mga activity. So we will do it through our Google Meet. So if you have some question, clarification, we have our group chat. Huwag mag-chismis sa group chat again ha. Because our group chat is intended only for all your queries, clarification. Kasi kapag mag-chismis kayo doon, then malilate na si Maria, hindi niya mabasa. Tapos yung iba, thumbs up pa ng thumbs up. Huwag na mag-thumbs up. I-like na lang yung post ni teacher or ng classmate nyo if there are. But huwag na kayo mag-send ng mga icon, mga emoji na mapupuno sa TGC. Diba? That's destructive. Okay? So if you have some question, type it there. I will wait for it and we will discuss that question. We will answer those questions next meeting. Okay? So goodbye everyone. Good afternoon. Ay, again pala ha, yung secretary ng group niyo. Aside from your attendance here, I want your secretary to list down the names of those who are here in this class, no? Para ma-check ko kung tama yung lista ko. Okay, good afternoon. Keep safe everyone. See you next meeting.